Hey everybody, welcome to the community hangout today. I'm Lee. From Play Guitar Podcast. I hope everybody's doing great today. This is something that we do in the community every weekend. We Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday we have 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time hangouts. Friday we're doing guitar news. We have a guitar talk on Saturdays. Sundays is just our hangout, and then Mondays we have the live podcast. So happy that you're here with us today. Got a couple things to talk about today, but nothing really, pressing right now. Just some fun stuff. We're going to check the chat in a few minutes. And I want to thank Evan for hanging out with me yesterday. We talked about recording, and it was a great to have Evan's perspective. He's been really into recording for the past 2 months and getting some great results pretty quickly. So we're pretty happy to get his opinion on some different things, and we talked a little bit about getting the most out of your recordings at home and some tips that you could do. And so if you're into recording, you can go ahead and check those out. We've got several things coming up this week. We're going to get into a little calendar type things in a few minutes. Some surprises coming up this week too. So pretty happy to spend the afternoon with you guys. I'm going to go ahead over to the chat right now. Let's see here. Let's get this out of the way. And so Diogo's, Brennan, David, and Dean are hanging out with us already. We got some more folks coming in a few minutes. Everybody's wishing each other a happy Sunday. Very happy to be hanging out with you today. We're going to be talking about coming up with set lists. How important a set list is, even if you're not in a band. How important a set list is. It's part of goal setting. And a lot of guitar players, when they just go to YouTube and they're just trying to learn, the a la carte method, just by taking a video here and a video there and learning little bits of pieces, they miss out on a lot of foundational skills. And you learn after a while that while you're working hard on different things, you're not seeing a whole lot of progress. So, goal setting is like the number one thing. Small goals, get milestones, because guitar playing is so huge and there's so many different ways that you can go with it. Getting your milestones together is really important, and getting a set list down. So when I first started playing in bands, everything revolved around the set list. What set are we going to play today? What are we going to do? What's the group of songs? And, it would depend on what set you're playing too. So if you're just starting off at the beginning of the night and not a whole lot of folks there, you're going to play your best stuff? Probably not. You're probably going to hold that off till later. But the set list kind of set the flow for the evening and gave you goals to get through, so that by the end of the first set, you're hoping you're getting people excited and, starting to warm up to, listen to some more music. By the second set, you might do some of your better things. By the third set, when the night's going really strong. And then the last set, a lot of people take a lot of chances in the last set because, people have been drinking. So you could try some new stuff out and people are usually receptive to it. Dean says he's sitting on the beach on a beautiful afternoon. That's wonderful, man. Enjoy it. Evan's here, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for hanging out with us yesterday. We had a great time getting your take on recording, and it was infectious. You were very it was very positive. So that was a great thing. Actually, today we may have some folks that some newer folks in here. I actually opened it up a little bit today and promoted this on some other outlets. So if we have a new face or two here in the chat, please make sure to say hi if you get a chance. And we're going to talk a little bit about set lists in your own playing and set lists. Getting my take, pun intended. set lists in your own playing and set lists in the band too. And I'm going to get you guys to help me out because I'm starting to think ahead a little bit for my move and when we get past all this stuff and playing out again. So we're going to talk about that. So how to set lists. What do they have to do with someone who's at home and just practicing all the time? Well, as we saw yesterday from Evan, who's been practicing, and then has an outlet for that practicing. Something that he can say, here's what I've done with recording in his instance, but getting a group of songs together and being able to play them at any moment is a step in the ladder. So when you first start off, you're just happy to be able to play anything, And then when you move on a little bit farther, you start to say, okay, I need to make sense of this stuff. Most people will learn a lot of songs. They'll learn tab, and they'll learn, go to chord sheets and all those kind of things, and just learn what somebody else has figured out. At some point, you start asking yourself, well, what am I doing? Why does this work? How does this work? And why am I doing these things this way? And what are the decisions that someone else made to make this song or this lick or this, melody sound the way it does? So when you're doing a lot of tab and you're learning a lot of songs, you're not the one making the decisions, somebody else is, and you're just basically playing someone else's decisions. Well, what to get you to the point where you can make your own songs, or you could take those songs and make something new out of them? How do you make those decisions? What are the tools used that the person who played the original song, why did they choose this certain scale, or why did they choose this certain strumming pattern? Those kind of things. So when you get to that point, then a lot of people realize, oh, I've got some things I got to work on. I got to step back a little bit and figure out, well, why do these things work? Then that's when having a group of songs or a group of licks, depends on where you are on the journey. Having a group of songs that you know inside and out, that you could play at any time, and that you understand the way they work. So if you wanted to do something to those songs, if you want to change them in a certain way, you could do that confidently. So getting a group of songs together, transcribing, one of the most powerful things that you can do for your playing. Basically, you're using your ear, think, okay, I like this. I like the way this sounds. I want to be able to play something similar to that in my own playing. How am I going to do it? Well, to get into that, we need to really pick apart these songs. Another thing starts to happen when you start to pick apart a group of songs. A lot of people who, especially early on, who love playing guitar, love listening to guitar, they start to worry, am I going to lose the magic with this? When I start to really understand, oh, okay, this song, they just played this chord and this chord and this chord, and that's really all it is. It starts to not be quite so spectacular anymore. You start to see the framework of how songs are built and how leads are built. And to some people, that's a letdown. To some people, they go, I don't know about this. I don't know if I really want to know this. This is kind of ruining the magic of songs. And what we've found, and a lot of the people in our community are finding out, is once you do have those skills and can understand how people, use those songs, have built those songs and those sounds that you like. A whole new, a much better feeling comes back when you can communicate to an audience or to other musicians. And then a whole new chapter of fun happens when playing guitar. We've got some more chat in here. I'm going to go. Diogo says, I always listen to the podcast on my way to work. It's helping a lot. Awesome. That's great, man. I appreciate that. I really do. And I'm glad you're working because some people aren't right now. So well, welcome, man. We're here. Like I said, we're here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and you are welcome to hang out with us anytime. We have a lot of fun. Let's see here. Evan says, hi to Diogo. And Evan says, something to work towards and a place to apply these skills. So awesome. That's right. David says, my set list involves strumming my practice routine. And then he turns on the metal zone and goes crazy. Yeah, man. I was trying to come up. Trying to come up with a little warmer full out lead sound today. It's not a metal zone, but it's the best that this thing I've got can do at this point. But within the next 2 months, I'll be getting all my stuff back. So Gio says, I always divide half my practice time learning a new song and the other half theory or technical stuff. Right. Very cool, man. I think that the splitting practice into is something that it's something I've been saying for a long time, and I usually split it with, okay, well, here, you've got the stuff that sounds good, and then the stuff that maybe doesn't sound so good that you need to work on, back and forth. But splitting a practice session into the whole purpose of that is to not have 14 things that you're working on all at the same time, to have some focus and have some fun too. Those are the two most important things in practicing: focus and fun. And really, one of the things that I've seen a lot, especially from before when I did my group lessons, when I could really see, and actually now it's with the coaching, it's working well too, is that as soon as someone adds repetition into their practice schedule and has a steady practice schedule, things start to happen. No matter what kind of practice routine that you have, I recommend splitting it into two parts. But even if you didn't, a daily practice schedule, and that's when things speed up. That's when it's really in anything. The repetition is huge. It's the way anything gets done. If you want to get good at something, or you want something to be accomplished, use repetition in your life, and you're going to be. I'm going to fix something right here. It's driving me nuts. Use repetition to your advantage. It happens in anything. And we talk a lot about, like when you're in school and it's been all week and you've got a test or a quiz coming up on Friday, and Thursday night you start studying and you're using your short-term memory. We're trying to get all of this stuff into long-term memory so we can be the guy who's up there, who's smiling, having fun playing, who's not racking his or her brain to remember all the things that you have to do, So anyway, so set lists, very important. And what we're doing through all the different levels that, let's see, Evan's pretty far along. Evan's on 207, but we've got a good mix of people who are early on in the levels, in the middle, and at in the later stages of the, before we get to the 3 level. And for everyone, it's really important to always have songs or licks that you're building a collection of. And when we are in the levels that have where we're really working on scales and improv, usually the licks is more appropriate for those. But for the strumming and then as we get farther on past the major and the major pentatonic, that's when the real building your list of songs. So I'm thinking for myself, because when we move, we're going to start playing when everyone's able to play again. I'm thinking about set lists. I'm thinking about songs I'd like to do, cover songs at this point, and going to get your take on that. Well, if you were to come down to Orlando and spend the evening listening to some music and get up and jamming, maybe what would blow your mind if you heard it? What are those songs that when you would walk into a club and you'd say, I can't believe they played that, those kind of things. So I'm going to open that up to you guys. What's some songs that you would love to hear in a set list? And I just might do them. You never know. Diego says, yes, I'm practicing an hour a day for the past 2 years. I think it's a slow but steady improvement in my playing. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. An hour a day, every day. Man, that is definitely being on the path. And that's great. And, when you do it for that long, you can start to see when some things go faster and some things are a work in progress. Dean says, my goal by next summer is I can do a bunch of songs when my family gets together. That's doable. Very doable. Very doable. I went through your video about an hour ago. I'm going through everyone's videos first and getting my notes, and then I'm going to record later on this afternoon after the live streams. But very doable, man. Good. That's a great goal. Let's see here. Dean, are you going to do like kind of a acoustic and singing some stuff, or you got some other ideas for your family get together? Something like Josh, when he's here, his whole family plays. So when family gets to get togethers, they do like a bluegrass kind of jam thing. So curious as to what your idea of that is going to look like. So let's see. David's here. Let's see here. How's that strumming going for you, David? I haven't got to your video yet. Yours is about two. I have 2 more to get to before yours. I'm curious, how's your strumming going? Is it frustrating, or you think you're getting a handle on it right now? Curious to find out about that. Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking about set lists and what I want to do when I want to play. Hey, Dino, good to see you. When we're gonna do kind of a blues rock fun night of music, and got some ideas for like themed sets a little bit. I was thinking about doing a Stevie Ray Vaughan set today. I've been listening to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan. I used to play a lot of that, so I'm thinking about doing a whole set of just like some of his best stuff and really working on it and getting it right instead of just jamming over it. Evan says something 90s would probably catch my ear, or early 2000s Radiohead. Okay, yeah, I played the hits that when the Radiohead we did Creep, and we did stuff like that. David says Always With Me, Always with You by Satriani would blow him away. How's it? I'm not gonna play it right here, but I knew it at one time, so that would be one to do. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So you get the ones that always worked for me when we played, like Voodoo Child always worked, never failed. We would do what was another one that always worked? Waiting on the Bus by ZZ Top, which goes into the Jesus Just Left Chicago. That one always worked really well. Evan, thanks about Black Crowes. Remedy's pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of cool Black Crowes stuff. David did his strumming in the key of E this week. It was the most challenging. It's not perfect yet, but I see it come along. That's good. Key of A now. Yeah, that's good. One of the things that I'm noticing, I've noticed this in a few different videos this week, is on that level, the 102 level, when you start to go through the chord progressions, and in key of C, it was like, let me change this. So you have your strumming patterns, and then we go to F. And then the third chord that we use is the 5 chord, which would be a G7. And I've noticed this on several people's videos, is they're actually using the major 7 chord instead of the G7. And in 101, we talk a lot about what the dominant 7th chord is. When you say it's just a G7, what that means, and we learn that. Now in the 102, we're learning more chords in the open position, and the G major 7th is one of them. But a major 7th and a 7th chord are very different. So here's the major 7th, and here's the 7th. You hear the difference in sound there? The major 7th has a note that's 1/2 step behind the root of the chord. And the dominant 7 has a note that is 2/2 steps behind the root note. And that makes all the difference in the world. So if you hear that chord, that dominant 7th chord, makes your ear want to go back to the 1 chord. It resolves. But if you were to play that as a major 7th chord, this note right here clashes really, really bad. And it's an F sharp. It's not in the key of C. And we're playing everything in the key of C. That's happened on 2 different students' videos today. And so that's something where most of the students who do 102, previously they've worked from 101, 102, they've worked their way up. But since we started coaching, that's one of the things that's missing there, the understanding of how 7th chords, what the difference between 7th chords are. So that's something I'm going to add into the worksheets, I think, just to make sure we don't miss that point. Dean says, I've got family that sings, but I'm thinking acoustic. Okay, that'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm curious what kind of songs that you're thinking about. And this is a good thing too. Another problem that a lot of people have is they learn a lot of parts of songs. So when someone says, hey, can you play me a song? They can play a bit or a few pieces of different songs. It's very common. People will learn just the part that they like and not learn the entire song. And so when you have a set list of songs for you to learn, a goal, that forces you to get in the mindset of learning the entire song from beginning to end. So when you can play a song, a whole song, that's currency. You have value there. People listen to songs from beginning to end. It's a whole thing. When you just know parts of lots of different songs, you don't really have anything at that point. You're not taking people from one point in time to another. You're just focusing on one thing that you like. So it's the difference of thinking of yourself versus thinking of the audience. You know, putting who you're putting first. I just want to learn the parts that I like, and that's it. That's not performing. You know, you have to always consider who you're playing for. So it changes the mindset there. So it's a really getting set lists together. It's fun too, man. You know, I sometimes we would play a gig and you'd be busy and all you could do is just get your gear together and get there on time. And so you get there in time, you set up, and you're like, well, what are we gonna play, and just sitting there and figuring out a new set list. And I always liked how when I learn a bunch of new songs and you play them at different times and you weren't sure, you kind of shuffle them around a little bit, and then after a couple months you figure out where those songs that you learned, if you kept them, which song when it worked the best. Is this a song for when everything's going well, or is this a good song for the beginning of the night? And placing those things too, and it tells you a lot about your own playing in your own performance. So let's see here. Dean says, I would love to hear some Southern rock. Okay, yeah, that would be cool too. Have maybe a Southern rock set and a blues set, maybe two different sets. Things I always like to hear play is like the upbeat, like fun blues stuff. When you go into a bar and everyone's having a great time. And a lot of like New Orleans music too, like the Second Line stuff and stuff that makes you move. But it's still a bluesy stuff. So that's definitely going to be a big part of it too. That's part of what I did for a while. And what David says, and he's talking about some stuff that's got some guitar. I was thinking about doing a set of like guitar tunes, like some Jeff Beck or like some Joe Satriani, or stuff like that, where it's I used to do Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson. That always went over pretty good. I would usually play it in the beginning of the night before I got tired, because there's a lot to that song. But songs like that. Dean says Allman Brothers Band. Yeah, I've played a lot of Allman Brothers stuff. There's a video. They have a thing in Macon here on Dwayne Allman's birthday every year. It's called Sky Dog, and I did it one year. It was Sky Dog 63, I think it was. It was when my daughter was. She was little. I don't remember how old she was, but did that. She was 2. Thank you. And yeah, I did that one year, and usually they do it out in the park. That's where the Allman Brothers used to play for free here a lot. But it was raining that year, so they did it in the auditorium, which is really cool, big round performance venue here. It was a lot of fun. So there's some videos up there. I'll see if I can find them. I did some Allman Brothers stuff. Allman Brothers stuff, because I played before I played with EG, I played mostly in like a 3-piece band. It sounded more like Government Mule when I played it, because you don't have all the percussion, all the different drummers and everything. But yeah, that'd be cool too. Thinking about doing some Pink Floyd with a lot of people who like Gilmore stuff, so maybe spending some time doing that. Let's see, what would be a cool... I always want to learn Devil Went Down to Georgia. That would on guitar. I've heard a few people play that. That would be fun to do too. Yeah, I'm going to start a list, I think. These are good ideas though. There's a couple really cool Black Crowes songs too. I think Evan said something about that earlier. Okay, so it's about 4:30 now. We've got the podcast coming up tomorrow. I've got recording on my brain, so I'm thinking about maybe doing another recording podcast, but that by the end of tonight I may change my mind about that. But like getting into recording, something, a basic thing maybe. I don't know. We're kind of at the end of the clean, crunch, and lead guitar tone challenge. So I could do another on that. Not sure yet. Well, how's everyone's week been going? We had a kind of rough week here because of one of our animals at home, but we're kind of getting through that okay. And we've been... Evan says there's always the basics how to get started. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That might be a good one. We haven't done a recording one in a long time. Maybe I could get together some like free things. Evan says almost like pushing recording as a replacement for recitals. Yeah, that would be a good. We did. Chris set up the what did we call that? Where everybody was putting songs up. I forget what that was called. But we did that once was it the beginning of this year, end of last year? That was fun. It was last year, I think. That was fun. Brendan says, I have to go back and listen to yesterday's episode, but a basics on recording would be awesome. Discussion about mics would be really helpful. Sure. We've done a little bit about that before, but that's something I could always revisit. So, good. That's good. Yeah, it looks like it would be a good thing. The benefits of recording yourself. That's a good one, David. That is a good one. Awesome. Well, it looks like that's what we're going to do then. Pretty cool, man. Let's see. I'm going to go back here for a second and see if I missed anything. I was talking. No, I didn't miss anything. I don't think. Love to hear some of Dean's ideas for the songs that he would like to play. Let's see here. Hey, Hal. Good to see you, man. Hope you're feeling better. So happy to know that you're doing okay, man. You're not late. We're here. We're hanging out, man. This is one of those. It's been in the mid 90s all week here. It's one of those sleepy siesta type summers where you get to about 2:00 in the afternoon and you start going, oh man, it's time for a nap, But we're here, we're hanging out. Dina says heat wave coming this week. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What's the northeast weather been this past week? I thought it's been pretty hot already. If you guys are getting worse heat than you've already had, that's really going to be something. Oh, that's good, Hal. I'm glad you're doing better. That was hadn't seen you in like a week or two, and then I just figured everybody gets busy or something like that. Evan says, I was also thinking about how cool it would be if more of the Academy members were recording. Academy members could collaborate from all over the world if they wanted to. Yeah. You see a lot of that. Well, somebody will put down like a chord progression and they'll trade it off to somebody, and then they'll do put another rhythm part on there. That would be a good thing to get together. Maybe getting groups, sign up groups, maybe getting 3 or 4 people together and start trading some recordings around. What would be neat is to get people in who maybe it would be new to recording a little bit, and maybe finding an easy way for them to get started. Like Evan and I are both using Cakewalk, and there's a bit of a learning curve to that. I'm curious if there's a free recording program that doesn't have that much of a learning curve to it. It's something that everyone could download and start, regardless of what platform they're on, and maybe start collaborating. That would be fun. Okay, so we got here. That was a great idea, Evan. Awesome. Dino blames COVID for the heat wave. Oh man, it's just one thing after another, ain't it? David got a message from FedEx, and they say the Spark's going to be here Thursday afternoon. It's Evan says it's real. It's coming. It's real. Evan R's here, man. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Evan says, like, someone could lay down a backing track and pass it around for different people to solo over and stuff. It could be so neat. Yeah, and even maybe if I just put down like an easy background track with some chords, and we could pass it around, and maybe harmony guitar is something that we don't talk about very often. Harmony guitar, harmonizing leads. Learning how to come up with really neat ideas over a guitar melody. That would be a lot of fun, I think. These are great ideas. And let's see here. So someone could lay down a backing track, pass it around for different people to solo over and stuff. Could be neat. That'd be great. Hal says, I'd love to hear thoughts on how to start a band with a bunch of 40-year-olds who work full time. How do you find a gig when you don't want to travel and have a hard time staying awake past midnight? Well, that's a restaurant gig right there, man. You find your local restaurant that would have a little stage in there, and usually a restaurant. When were we done in a restaurant? I mean, what time of the night was it over? It was usually over around 7 to 10.
No, 6 to 10.
6 to 10? Yeah. So by 10 takes you an hour to tear down. So you're out of there by 11. That's what I would do, man. I'd find a like a restaurant that has like a bar off to the side in a little area, and say, hey man, we'll play for, whatever sounds appropriate. Drinks or, tip jar, play for tips. No, don't do that. Right.
But be sure to put a tip jar out.
Yeah. So he said, how to start a band with a bunch of 40-year-olds who work full time. So it would definitely be like a Friday night, right? At a restaurant close to where everybody lives. And you're out of there early. That's the way to go, man. And you know what? Like Mexican restaurants, you wouldn't think it would go over well because you'd think it would be themed Mexican. But like I know around here, that's the place where people are drinking margaritas, So, Evan says, I find Cakewalk relatively easy to use. Reaper confounded me when I tried it as the studio one. Yeah, Cakewalk's definitely easier than both of those. I was thinking like Audacity, which is a lot of people use Audacity. It's pretty easy to use. It's been around for a while. Let's see. Hey, other... Geez, that would be priceless advice. Yeah. David says Lee could put out a tab and everyone can do their version. Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun to have. I've got that band in a box thing where I can make background tracks like it's nothing, and we could just put out a cool background track and see what everybody comes up with. Or what would be even cooler? Putting out a drums and bass track. So there's no chords, there's no guitar playing, there's no anything, just the drums and the bass. And putting it up maybe in the Facebook group and having everybody play over that and see what they come up with. That would be cool. And then when we do have some things that sound pretty good, sharing them around and see if people can add on to those. So starting from no guitars, but still having a framework where the bass is setting the key, you know, I think that would be a good idea. So just putting up a, yeah, Evan says, oh, yeah. Hey, Gloria, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Evan says, that's a great idea. See what you come up over a bass line and a rhythm. Yeah, I think that might be the best way to go. And that way you could just take that one, we just do it as an MP3, you know, put that into a program, and you just need 2 tracks. The one is that track, and then you can put your guitar over it, or as many tracks as you like to. That's right, Dean's got his Spark coming too. That'd be awesome. We could have the Spark preset channel. I'm curious to see. I'm really curious. I've got the positive grip bias amp, not the effects, but the amp one. And I'm curious what the tones of the Spark are going to sound like compared to that, because I really like the tones that are in the bias effects amp too. I like them better for some things than the ones that I've been using before. Evan says, there's so much you can do with the internet being what it is. We used to have to all get together in my living room to make a song. Yeah. They I'm curious about these people who are jamming. The one that got me was on Good Morning America, I think it was. Journey debuted, like they played some classics and debuted, maybe they had a new song or something. I don't know. They did something on one of these morning talk shows. And the lead singer's in the Philippines. The guitar player was in Los Angeles. Everybody in the band was in a different place. And they had it so that there was no latency. And it worked really well. I'm sure that's pretty... I don't know what they used. I really need to check that out. And Evan says, I did check it out. The Spark can definitely be used as an audio interface as well. That's great. You know, you can just lay ideas down really quickly. So let's see here. Scroll back a little bit. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Just a bass. Now, I don't have my bass with me, but I could use the bass that's in the Band in a Box. There's a real bass player that plays on those, and I just pick a cool chord progression and then get rid of everything but just the drums and bass. That would be easy to do, and we could see what everybody comes up with. And what's the easiest recording software? For beginners. Let's take a look here. Let's see here. Lots of people have different opinions on the best one for beginners. Free versus paid. And they're talking about the Pro Tools and Magics and everything. Let's see what their opinion is. Here, as I scroll down, for Mac, this person thinks Logic is the easiest. And then for PC, Magix. I don't know anything about that. Fruity Loop Studio. Producer Edition. A lot of people use that, but when I used that years and years ago, it was just like a drum machine type thing. Studio One, a lot of people have. Reaper, you can run for free. You don't have to pay for it, but Evan's correct. It's got a little bit of a learning curve too. Can you do multi-track with Audacity? because I've never done multi-track. Yep, you can. Maybe Audacity would be the one. I think that would be the one to use. That's super simple. It's easy download too. Maybe we'll try that for folks. GarageBand. A lot of people have GarageBand. I don't happen to have GarageBand, though. That's my problem with that. Dino says, I've seen some low latency solutions for recording. Maybe we can test some one day. Yeah, I saw a few of those too. I was talking to Chris about those at one point, long time ago. Yeah, but you know, for what we're doing, GarageBand I think would work fine. Claire said, Lee, did you get my videos Friday evening? I don't think I did. Let's see here. Let me check my email. Okay, let's see here. On the 11th was the last email I got from you, which was what? That was a week and a day ago. So in mail, I didn't get one, but let's look in the Academy and see if it was in there. I don't remember seeing it posted yet, but I'm going to check that right now. There's Marty, Dale, David, Dino, Brennan, Evan, Jake, Evan. I don't think I did, Gloria. I haven't seen it. I didn't remember seeing it, and I don't think I did. Could you send that to me again? Let me check my spam folder. Sure didn't go to spam. Sorry, everybody. I don't want to miss. Nope, it's not in my spam folder either. Yeah, could you send me that again? I don't think I got it. Sent them through email. I'm not seeing them. Let's see here. Evan says, Cakewalk has everything. It's hard to beat. There are a bunch of really good videos about getting started on YouTube. What Studio One didn't have was a third-party plugin support. It came with the interface. Yeah, and getting an interface too. But like I said yesterday, you can set it up to use the microphone in on your laptop or computer too. And some people aren't even using computer. A lot of people are only using this at this point. So I think what we'll do is I'll get some drums and bass together, and maybe I'll do a little video and put it up in the Facebook group, and having a few different ways to go if you want to get into that. And using, a lot of people don't have microphones, so that it would be better if they just plug straight in and got a guitar tone that way. I don't know. I mean, even just usually using your cell phone is usually the easiest. It doesn't come up with the best quality though. This is fun, man. This is gonna be good. I like that. Cakewalk has everything's hard to beat. It's a bunch of really good videos about getting started. YouTube, but yeah, I'm thinking about doing some too for Cakewalk. Only because I don't even think about it when I've used it for so many years, But I'm straight up on a budget, so I'm looking for the most extensive solution for the lowest price. Well, Cakewalk is definitely that at this point. Well, okay. So we were talking about set lists, personal set lists, and then set lists for bands, which are both really important. And thinking about doing recording for the podcast this week. And let's see here. I'm going to come back and re-look through all of these. I liked Hal's how to start a band with a bunch of people who are busy. with families and work full time. So here's what you need. How you need somebody's got a PA system, right? And somebody has a trailer or something big to carry that in. So there's your first. That's the first thing, because most of those places that you'll be able to play, for that kind of a deal, they're probably not going to have a sound system available for you. So you have to have something like that. You have somebody that sings, somebody that plays drums, plays bass, and everybody else can play guitars. And let's see. College town, right, Hal? What am I thinking? College town. So I grew up in a college town. And we played a lot. There was a lot of places to play. We would, let's see, we would play everything from restaurants to fraternity parties, everything, and clubs and everything, all like that. But the one that was fun, we used to play a place called Klondike Kate's, and this was like an old restaurant on the main strip, and it was the place where, when all the parents would come to town, that they would take the students for lunch. It was kind of half fancy but half kind of laid back too. It's a college town, so it had a bar, but it was also a restaurant. We played there a lot. It was basically a corner that you'd set up in. So I would look at something like that, something where it's a restaurant with a bar. That's what I would do. And get everybody. I don't know if you guys are practicing yet or not. Hal says, great advice. Me and a few guys are looking at some PAs. Drummers tough to find at our age. Well, you can. There's been a lot of. Go to the. I remember we'd have drummers of all different ages, so the band was basically all the same age. But the drummer sometimes would be a younger kid, who just wanted to play. That's what I would do. I would go at the school, go to the music department and ask one of the professors there if they know somebody who's a real good drummer and plays kit and is looking for just having some fun. That's what we did. We had I got a story that I'll tell you when we're not on YouTube sometime about that. Yeah. I would if you're having a hard time finding a drummer, I would ask around a young kid who just wants to play, would love to get up there and play. So I'd ask some professors if they know somebody who's a good kit player that would like to play some gigs. That's what I would do. Feed them, give them something to drink and feed them. And mostly that they'd be happy for that. Dave says, get your band together and start posting on YouTube, see what kind of response you get. I say get a PA, a generator, and a flatbed, and you can play wherever you want. Or just get you an extension cord and you can do what everybody else is doing and play out the end of your driveway on the street. And, if your neighbor plays, they can set up on their driveway. Have the whole... With the PA, it eliminates the problem that most local restarts don't have sound and light. Yeah. And you don't... House says, our current drummer's 14. Yeah, that's tough. But if it's a restaurant, that's not a big deal. Bars, that's tough. You gotta... I've seen it, though. I've seen people who had talented kids who were out there wanting to play, and they're playing in bars, and they have to sign a whole bunch of stuff and everything. Have to have a parent there and everything. But with the PA, yeah, it doesn't have to be a huge PA system. I'll look into what the different. I used a Yamaha one of those kind of like lunchbox PA systems for years, and it worked fine. With two, which you just get two 15 monitors up on stands, for small venues, and some sort of a wedge monitor on the floor. Just one will get you through. Most people want two, and you can kind of chain those together, and you're playing. What was that Yamaha I've got? I mean, it's my backup now. Let me take a look here. So it's a Yamaha. Going to Sweetwater right now, taking a look at what they got, see if they're still selling the one that I used. It's like an all-in-one. Let's see, portable PA systems. I don't know if they're still selling the one that I use. Here's a stage pen. That's like $1,000. It's too much for what that is. I'll take a look. But one of these, I know Yorkville. A lot of people use Yorkville all-in-one PA systems. And Yorkville has a lot of very small speakers that sound big. Let's see here, mixers, Micromix, Power Max. Here we go. Here's the M810. Let me see if I do I have it set up? There we go. Here's Yorkville, something like this. See if I can make this bigger. Oops. Something like this, like an all-in-one package for a small club. Here's a 2x800 watts, so that's 1600 watts, 10 inputs, mixer and amp. And these didn't used to be really expensive, but 2x400 watts, I use that for years in small places. What helps is having sometimes they have like a graphic EQ on the front, but a lot of times in smaller places you don't need to mic the guitar, because it's usually going to be too loud anyway, and it bleeds into the vocal microphone. So what you'd have a lot of times is you'd have a mic for the kick drum. That's important because that gets lost. And then sometimes they'll have two overhead mics. Not always. Sometimes it's just, depending on how small the place is, sometimes it's just a mic for the kick drum. But then minimum, if you want to hear the whole kit, would be two overhead mics, which you could get some really cheap MXL small condenser mics will work really nice for that. Sometimes they'll put a 57 on the snare. So at the most that you need is two overheads, a kick drum, and a snare mic. If you wanted to be, if you wanted to go that far, so that's 4 inputs, right? Both of these have 10 inputs, and you don't have to get Yorkville. You can get just something like this. It's easy to carry. It all makes sense, and you'd have guitars wouldn't need to be in the main. You wouldn't need to mic those. You could turn them up loud enough that everybody could hear it, and it would spill over into the vocal mic. And vocal mics. Let me see here if I can find some of those mini. I use something like this. Lisa and I use some stuff like this. Kind of like the Bose looking thing. And those were lightweight. But I've got a friend of mine who uses these mini powered speakers too. So you could get powered speakers. There's a lot of different ways you can go. I know Yorkville was really like a step up from Behringer. Behringer's got some good stuff too, though. So anyway, some ideas like that. Let me see here. So Evan says you can get a little all-in-one PA pack or something. Yeah, something like that to get you started. Something that's good enough for practice and could be around it's the sunny cul-de-sac. yeah. And the Fender Passport, right. I have seen a Fender Passport that was a little underpowered sometimes. So those you have to be a little careful about. The PVs work good. I've seen it, PVs that do that, all-in-ones, including speakers, they bundle together to a little suitcase. Yeah, just getting something that is loud enough for people to hear in a small to medium-sized place. It doesn't have to be fancy, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. And it will double as PA for when you're practicing. And then if you end up going and playing bigger places, most of them already have PA systems. So you don't even have to worry about that. So, just having a smaller one would work good. Yeah, that'd be fun, man. We'd like to go on the ride, see that. Get that band going, Okay, everybody. It's 5:00. Got a lot of videos to get to today, so I'm going to go ahead and say bye-bye. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me today. A lot of great ideas. Let them mull over a little bit. We'll after the podcast tomorrow, we'll talk more about the background track thing, and I'm going to start thinking about recording in the morning. I'll get a podcast up together in the morning. And Dino saw a solo performer guitar vocals with a Bose system that sound great. Yeah, they're neat. They're different. Those Bose systems are definitely different. Really interesting. They fill the room pretty good, and not a whole lot of equipment too. So, okay, everybody, have a great rest of your Sunday. I'm planning on making sure by when you wake up in the morning, everybody will have their videos. so I'll be getting things done today. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Thank you, Evan and Dino, Brennan, David. Thanks, Hal and Gloria. Great to see you. Let's see here. I think I said Dino. Dean. In fact, Dean, I'm going to, if you've got a minute, you're on the beach, so you may not have a minute. I was going to send you a link. But we'll see here. And thanks to Diogo, man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you hanging out with us today. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. There we go. Bye-bye, everybody.